Cash Cow, Tank coming back.
Yes.
I'm not going to ask you who he's fighting, but because I know you're not going to answer me. Even if you know, I know you're not going to say it here.
But my mouth like this.
But what can we expect from? I'll say, what can we expect November the 2nd from Tank? What is it we're going to see from the Cash Cow Tank? Multi-division world champion, knockout artist. What are we going to see November 2nd from Tank?
Well, with me and Tank, I can't wait to see him.
Yeah.
Let me
Calvin Ford has confirmed that Gervonta Davis is set to return to the ring in November and expects the two of them to put on something truly special together. He also made it very clear that despite what many people may have assumed, there was never any genuine bad blood between them.
from that camp.
Yeah.
And me and Tank haven't seen each other since camp. When I left, everybody thought I was mad. No, I wasn't mad. I was just, just it's over.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I was going through court at the same time.
Yes, I was going to say something like, yeah.
I was going through court.
Yes.
And he won, I won.
That's right.
So,
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
I haven't seen him just to give him a hug from that victory.
Right.
Calvin Ford believes that Gervonta Davis continues to grow and evolve with every single training camp, and says that growth pushes him to become a better coach as well. He compares Tank to his own personal Michael Jordan of boxing and openly admits that he learns something new from him each and every time they prepare for a fight together.
When is it that you see all right, now because the first couple weeks is warm up, and then you all right, now we ready to go. He's in fight shape right now. At what point do you see that in camp?
Well, like I said, every camp is different from me.
Right.
Because I'm growing too.
Yeah.
Last camp you say, oh, you're getting good at this.
Yeah.
Nah, because you getting good at what you do. So my game got to step up with your game.
That's right.
So, we try to look at opponents that we had to put in place, things that we had to do. And like I say, Tank is like my Michael Jordan.
That's right.
Ring. So, I had to listen to what he want, what he want to do. Last camp, man, I learned so much from him.
Yeah.
As a person, as an athlete, as a fighter. You know what I'm saying? And watching him evolving.
Yes.
When the conversation turns to a possible Shakur Stevenson versus Gervonta Davis matchup, Calvin Ford gives Shakur full credit for his boxing ability and skills. However, he firmly believes that Tank is operating on a completely different level right now. He also sends a clear warning that whenever these two finally do meet inside the ring, it is not going to be a pretty fight by any stretch of the imagination.
You're Tank's trainer, and I'm pretty sure you're like, hey, we'll get the job done.
The fight is going to happen one day.
What do you think that he brings to the table? I'm saying give a game plan. What does he bring to the table?
I'm going to give Shakur. See, everybody don't know. We have a history. I know y'all seen videos of and everything.
Yes.
We have a history. Man, his grandfather, we real cool.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? We grew up with these youngins. You know what I'm saying? To me, Floyd is Shakur is a good boxer.
Yes, he is.
He's a good boxer.
Yes.
I give him that. But again, Tank is different. He's on another mission, and way things are today between them two, it ain't gonna look pretty.
With the comeback now confirmed, Calvin Ford is wasting no time pushing Gervonta Davis through a brutal and demanding training camp designed to sharpen every single aspect of his game before fight night. The goal is simple: bring Tank back fully prepared and more dangerous than anyone has ever seen him before.
So that's boxing at its finest right there. You heard it. They said it. Make that bad. Everything on the line. That's old school right there. That's everything.
Breaking down his training, Barry Hunter believes Gervonta Davis possesses elite-level physical power and every single tool needed to compete at the very top of the sport. In his view, Tank is built exactly the kind of fighter who was made to handle boxing's biggest and most demanding challenges.
Fans, the real ones that know that this is no easy fight. He's very skilled, and I'm going to go on the line and say this may be the most skillful person that Tank has faced thus far.
I just don't want to look bad come fight night. My biggest fear has been embarrassed, especially in front of all these people worldwide. Then you be come this mean for deck, I ain't got time for that. I'm not trying to go out getting my butt kicked bad. I can't do it. I don't want to be embarrassed, bro. It's just my pride. Some people be made for it, some people don't. It's not going to win. You better.
Adding to that, Calvin Ford also sees Gervonta Davis as a genuinely changed fighter since his last time out, shaped and molded by everything he has been through outside of the ring. He points to those personal experiences as a key factor in refining his mindset and bringing a sharper and more focused approach to both his training and his performance on fight night.
I just know that he's not the same person that we seen the last time we seen him in the ring. Been through a lot of stuff. Watching him making a transition coming from being incarcerated to now and dealing with courts, dealing with that type of stuff, because that's a trauma and a half for you if you ever been through that type of stuff.
Meanwhile, Shakur Stevenson openly acknowledges Gervonta Davis as a major figure in boxing who has full control over the direction of his own career. He adds that if Davis genuinely wants the fight, it can be put together quickly and without any real obstacles standing in the way.
Biggest star in the world, one of the biggest stars in the world. So with him being at that top spot, he can pick and choose who he wants to fight. If he want to fight this guy, he can fight this guy. So, and my brain is like, just say you want to fight and we can make it happen at any given time.
At the same time, Keyshawn Davis shows genuine respect for Gervonta Davis, specifically pointing to his sharp finishing ability and calm composure inside the ring. He adds that a fight between Davis and Shakur Stevenson would be highly competitive and anything but easy for either man involved.
For one, I really think the fans don't really see nobody beating Shakur. For one, like, when people bring up him and Tank, when I see and I go read like little stuff about it, they really be debating. It don't be like, oh, Tank is gonna destroy this guy and everybody is saying it. No, that should be like real debates. Like, this Shakur, this, that. And then not only that, now you see Shakur moving up in weight, he's filling out, he's dropping this dude. He went crazy that last fight. That last fight was like kind of crazy.
As the excitement continues to build, David Benavidez views Gervonta Davis versus Shakur Stevenson as the matchup boxing needs most right now, pointing to the enormous impact it would have on the sport as a whole. He adds that if this fight ever gets officially made, it would instantly take over every headline and become the absolute center of attention across the entire boxing world.
This weekend, I would love to see Shakur and Gervonta. I think Gervonta and anybody any of the top guys at that weight class is a great fight. Gervonta, Shakur, Gervonta, Tio, Gervonta, Keyshawn. I mean, that 135 to 140 pound weight class is hot right now. You know what I mean? But that would be a great fight. I think probably that would be one of the fights that would be the most anticipated, if they can make happen. Gervonta Davis and Shakur Stevenson. By no means it would be easy for either fighter. We just seen that Shakur Stevens was able to shut a great fighter like Teofimo down and made him look silly. So that would be a great fight, and a big shout out to Shakur Stevens becoming a 4-time division champion. He's on legendary status. He's on his way to be a Hall of Famer too, and he's still.
Analyst Anthony Breen breaks down Shakur Stevenson as the cleaner and more refined defensive operator, while pointing out that much of what Gervonta Davis is truly capable of has still not been fully seen in public. He notes that Davis fights with patience and carefully selects his shots, whereas Stevenson maintains a consistent pace and applies steady pressure from the opening round all the way to the final bell. He concludes that neither fighter's style gives them a clear-cut advantage over the other, making this matchup genuinely unpredictable until these two actually stand across from each other in the same ring.
Shakur Stevenson. Shakur might have better defense, but at the end of the day, I still think we haven't seen the best Tank Davis. That's what people always power. We still haven't seen the best Tank Davis. And Shakur, for the most part, he comes forward. Tank Davis, all he takes is one shot. He's a very patient fighter. He doesn't throw a lot of shots, but every shot he throws, he makes them.
Andre Rozier also describes Shakur Stevenson as a sharp and highly technical fighter, but still gives the edge to Gervonta Davis because of his fight-ending power. He frames the matchup as skill versus explosiveness, where Stevenson has the ability to control the rhythm and pace of the fight, but Davis only needs one single clean moment to completely swing the outcome in his favor. In his eyes, this fight sits right on a knife's edge where one small lapse in timing or focus from either man could ultimately decide who walks away with the victory.
Like this, Shakur is a talented fighter. Tank, that's like my ride and die. I like guys that get people in trouble and knock them out. So I'm always riding with Tank. It will be a spectacular bout. I mean, you have the age-old puncher versus boxer at its best. Now, if Tank allows Shakur to get ahead too far, then he might not be able to catch up to him. On the flip side of that, if Tank gets in there and Shakur makes a mistake, it only takes one for the lights to be out. So I'm waiting to see it. I want to see it, and I'm looking forward to it. It's another 50-50, but I'm Tank all the way. So I got to ride or die with who I ride or die with, even though I love them.
However, Bruce Carrington downplays the current buzz surrounding a major fight involving Shakur Stevenson, suggesting that the momentum around it has cooled off for the time being. He points out that both fighters still have plenty of time on their side to rebuild the excitement, but feels that Stevenson needs to deliver more explosive and engaging performances if he wants to raise fan interest back to where it needs to be.
Huge pay-per-view attraction right now?
Right now, no. I feel like because these guys are still young, they have the time to build it up, and because of how the audience have been taking Shakur's last performance, the interest of it is low. You know what I mean? So I feel like for it to be big again, Shakur has to have exciting performances and at least like a...
Meanwhile, Gary Russell Jr. expects the matchup to be a fast-paced and action-packed clash driven by constant pressure and non-stop exchanges from both sides. He highlights how one fighter's relentless aggression will naturally force the fight into high-intensity situations from the very first round all the way to the last. He adds that the clear and obvious difference in styles between the two men makes this bout naturally exciting and an easy sell for boxing fans everywhere.
Fight, he come to get boogie. He come to where if he don't whoop your ass, he gonna knock you out. Same with me. If I'm gonna whoop your ass, or you going out of here. Clean up time. Let's go. Styles like that being clashed against each other, it's gonna be a juicy fight. It's bound to be a juicy fight. Yeah. People's going to tune into it. That's why they really would tune into it, because of the styles. Now that don't need no build up because of the style.
Breaking it down even further, Gary Russell Jr. considers Shakur Stevenson a clean and highly efficient technician who relies heavily on his defense, sharp footwork, and pinpoint accuracy to control fights. He notes that Stevenson maintains a deeply disciplined approach throughout, avoids getting drawn into risky exchanges, and consistently banks rounds through smart positioning and carefully selected shots that never waste energy.
Cool, he got a different style. He got a surgical style. He's a boxer. He don't get hit. He's not going to get hit. He's going to move. He's going to be smart and obedient. He's not going to try to throw no wasteful shots. And he's not going to take no risk for real with certain fighters. Why? Because it'd be foolish. His job is to win. And if he can do that by playing it safe, then he's going to do that. It's not stupid of him. It's smart of him.
Frank Martin also breaks down this matchup as a nearly even clash defined by two completely different approaches to the sport. He labels Stevenson a precise and technical fighter who controls fights through structure and discipline, while Davis brings explosive power, raw instinct, and an unpredictable brand of chaos. He also notes that Stevenson is somewhat easier to prepare a game plan for, but that Davis is far more difficult to fully figure out and account for no matter how much preparation goes into it.
Man.
Or it's too close to call.
It's just one of them things. Tank got skill. Tank got skill. Tank got power. He got that natural instincts, man. He got it. Shakur just a pure boxer.
Yeah.
He could box, a pure boxer. But is this pure boxer. Tank
got a little bit of everything.
Tank got a little bit of everything.
It's hard to game plan for him. Okay.
It's like you gotta like knowing you finna fight Shakur, you just know you finna box.
Yeah.
You finna box.
So you gotta be sharp.
You gotta be sharp. Tank, he got a little bit of everything.
Meanwhile, Tim Bradley analyzes the matchup as a tight contest between Shakur Stevenson's defensive control and Gervonta Davis's explosive finishing power, leaning slightly towards Stevenson in what he sees as an extremely close fight overall. He notes that Davis can shift the entire dynamic by staying relentlessly aggressive and dragging Stevenson into forced exchanges he would rather avoid. He also highlights that Stevenson's limited counteractivity when placed under heavy pressure could give Davis exactly the openings he needs to land something truly decisive.
And I say he fights at the level of his competition, you know, and you can say, oh, there's some contradictory going on now, but it just, I still got Shakur, but there is still like, it's like, I can see a way, I can see a path of where Tank can beat him. I can see it. I can see a path in a way that I believe that Tank can catch him and hurt him and knock him out. You know, I'm not gonna give that away. However, I can see the path. I can see a path, man. Well, I could talk about it. I mean, it's the fact that he's not, when you put heat on him, he's so damn defensive.
Tim Bradley analyzes Shakur Stevenson as a fighter who frequently operates off the back foot, and warns that this particular tendency could end up handing control of the fight directly to Gervonta Davis. He explains that too much retreating would allow Davis to dictate the rhythm and rack up cleaner and more impressive scoring moments in the eyes of the judges. He adds that if Stevenson remains inactive and fails to engage when the pressure comes, it could cost him crucial rounds and potentially the entire fight when all is said and done.
Willing to risk getting caught, Tank's gonna be in the fight. Period. And if he starts moving back on his bicycle and Tank's coming forward, Tank's gonna be the aggressor. That's what's gonna happen. So I can see Tank actually winning the fight now when I thought that he couldn't, on the scorecards. And not knocking out Shakur because of this. You know, the inactivity behind his defense could be his downfall.
That's what we gotta do, right? We gotta keep an open mind, fight to fight.
Showbiz the analyst reflects on how the online build-up surrounding Shakur Stevenson and another top fighter gradually faded out once neither side made any real effort to keep the rivalry going. He points out that Stevenson stepped away from the tension fairly quickly, leaving the whole situation without any real resolution. Over time, the early excitement dissolved into uncertainty as the potential matchup slowly but steadily lost its momentum.
They had a back and forth on X, and at the end of it, Shakur was like, yeah, it's over. I mean, he's not going to fight me. He's not interested, so I'm not interested. Don't ask me about that again. And I'm totally with him on that. So, yeah, him putting that extra, and plus, we don't know what's going on with Tank right now. So, you know, he has a lot of things to deal with. It's easy to say F him right now anyway, right? But I lost interest. When Tank lost interest, Shakur lost interest. Listen, I mean, fighting Teofimo Lopez, in my opinion, I always saw Teofimo Lopez as like a Tank Davis kind of. Like the way he fought, I've always compared them to, except for Teofimo Lopez is a big guy. And with Shakur moving up to fight Teofimo Lopez, I'm kind of fine. Like, I get it. You know, if they were to ever fight, of course that'd be amazing.
Showbiz the analyst breaks down a style closely associated with Shakur Stevenson that involves calculated risk, often absorbing pressure and inviting opponents in before firing back with sharp and precise counters. He explains that while it is a controlled and deliberate strategy, it becomes genuinely dangerous the moment timing slips or reactions begin to slow down even slightly. He also notes that this approach was already being tested and pressured early on against Gervonta Davis, highlighting just how risky it can become when applied at the very highest level of the sport.
I'm trying to say, he would take a few, bam, bam, and let you get off so he could get closer. So you could try to throw 3 or 4 or 5, and then he counter those. Now he's boxing. But he'll roughhouse to box because he can always rely on him being rough. He can rely on it. He had the doghouse rules with Tank at 15. He found out how tough he is. So at the end of the day, when everything strips apart, he can rely on that foundation. But that can hurt him. It can also kind of help him because Devin ain't known as a great puncher. And he's coming up. So he can feel safe doing what he always does against natural welterweights.
On the other hand, there is another potential matchup being discussed for Gervonta Davis's return, as Oscar De La Hoya confirms growing interest in a fight with Kid Austin. He states that discussions are expected to pick up and intensify very soon, and if this becomes the target fight, he is fully prepared to push hard as a promoter to make it happen while ensuring his fighter is completely ready when the time comes.
There will be real talks happening very soon. if Kid Austin wants to go after Tank next, then me as a promoter is what I have to do and get him.
Kid Austin is equally excited about the prospect and has shifted his focus entirely toward high-level competition, identifying Gervonta Davis as the real benchmark fight rather than settling for easier opponents. He emphasizes that stepping up to face elite names is the only way to earn genuine respect and truly prove himself at the very top level of the sport.
At the end of the day, it's boxing. I'm just here to give the best fights. I'm young. Tank is the gatekeeper as far as like holding that belt, that championship. And he's a person I got to go through, I'm not, no disrespect, but I'm not looking to get it through a Lucas body or somebody that they expect me to beat, because, once you do that, you don't get no credit for that. So, I'm looking to make the best fights happen. And, Tank is one of the best, so I'm ready to get this fight on. It's just crazy how people try to downplay the fact that a young fighter is actually daring to be great. So, I'm doing something Shakur and Devin's not doing as far as fighting, the boogeyman of boxing. So, once that day comes...
Gervonta Davis's trainer Kenny Ellis questions whether Floyd Schofield can truly handle the real punching power of Gervonta Davis once they are actually inside the ring together. He argues that no amount of film study or gym preparation can ever fully replicate what it actually feels like to absorb that kind of force in a real fight. He adds that Schofield's true reaction and ability to cope under that pressure will only be revealed once the intensity of actual competition is applied.
My guy,
For sure. But the way you see it, you know what I'm saying?
I don't think if Schofield got experience, he working in the gym. I know he put on a lot of muscle.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think he felt, spawn and hit with hit, that shit is different. I don't think he felt what he's gonna feel with Tank. Not speaking. I agree. You know what I'm saying? I agree. Some things he has yet to experience. He might can push through it, but some things you feel in that ring. A lot of these fighters, they watch video clips and they watch his training, but you can't feel when you're looking at the videos. You can't feel what you watch. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's the part. He got to be able to push through. A lot of pain come with boxing. People don't know that. Pain come with this, and I have yet to see anybody put Schofield through pain.
YouTube commentator Showbiz highlights that a potential Shakur Stevenson versus Gervonta Davis fight is largely being kept alive through hype, particularly through press conferences and public buildup on both sides. He notes that the added attention surrounding Stevenson's camp has certainly helped keep the storyline fresh and in the conversation. However, he adds that real and genuine belief in the matchup will only truly arrive once both fighters actually step into the ring and back everything up with their performances.
Guys are interested in that. I would be very interested in Floyd Schofield versus Gervonta Tank Davis. I just think that'd be one. The press conferences alone, right? Can you people calling Big Floyd, Papa Floyd? Y'all call him Auntie Schofield like that. People don't like him. So, dude, that would be hilarious. Just a lead up. And then you have Floyd Schofield, who definitely can swat. But the second thing I want to say about that possible matchup is, listen, I know the Schofields. I think they have a problem with me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to pick. I love you, boy. I like them when they fight, and that's my problem. If this fight is even made, a lot of us aren't going to feel confident about the fight happening until...
That wraps things up right here. Share your thoughts on these potential matchups in the comments section below, and make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest fight news, updates, and breakdowns as they come.